I'm gonna tell you the story of the first thing I've done, and it's not the story of everything it does. You can go miracle, no one's talking to you, welcome to the cult. Alrighty. Gonna take a step sideways, because this is actually an important reference to, the Antichrist in general. The Pumshkale Babarev. Babylon the Great, commonly known as the Hobag of Babylon, refers to both a symbolic female figure and a place of evil as mentioned in the book of Revelations in the New Testament. Her full name is stated in Revelations 17:5 as Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. She is further identified as a representation of the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth in Revelations 17:18. The great whore of Babylon, as of the book of Revelations, is featured in chapter 17. And there came one of the seven angels which had come to the seven vials and talked with me, saying, Come unto me, come hither, I shall shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried with me in the spirit unto the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-coloured beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour, and decked with gold and precious stones and bells, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness and for fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, Mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw a woman drunken with the blood of saints, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. That's about Rome. And 7 kings, 5 have fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even if he is the 8th, is of the 7, and goes into perdition. The Naza, bringing up the Naza again. The Naza comes up a lot with the Antichrist. Possibly because, at least partially because the Antichrist is Putri Vinaza, the son of perdition. And the 10 horns, which thou saw, are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Huh. And he said unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the halls that sitteth are peoples, multitudes, and nations, and tongues. Well, with the tongues thing, that actually makes a lot of sense with the catacon. And the woman which thou sawest in that great city, which reigns over the kings of the earth. Oh, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigns over the kings of the earth. Say you thou, she's a resting place for demons. Anyway. And that is Pumskali Babarev. I'm going to circle back to the main Antichrist article. See if I can do... Alright. Ooh. There's some good stuff here. Alright. Continuing on with Christian views of the Antichrist. Eastern Orthodox. Throughout history, various ecclesias of the Eastern Orthodox Church have identified the opposite of the Roman Catholic papacy with the Antichrist, as previously discussed. Russian Orthodox Metropolitan Anthony Krapovitsky, in explaining the necessity of rebaptism for Roman Catholics, Protestants, and Nestorians, declared, I don't know a lot about Nestorians. Admittedly, my understanding of Christian theology is, in fact, my weakest understanding of theology, which it is. But in the view of omnism, that like there's truth in every religion, you know, I try to be aware of all of them. Not aware of Nestorians. I feel like if I've heard of them, I've heard of them once. It is clear that by regulation, the court does not recognize in heretics and schismatics either the priesthood or the other mysteries and considers them subject to ecclesiastical baptism in the nature of things. The Church, by receiving Latins into communion in the same way as Nestorians canceled Rule 95, does not make any distinction between old heresy and the Latin one. I think the Latins are considerably further from the Church than they are worse than Monophysites and Morpholites, because they created the second Christ, the Antichrist in the person of the Pope, who was supposedly infallible. Oh yeah, the doctrine of infallibility. The dogma chestnut. That causes a huge problem in dogma, like a huge problem in dogma. And Christmas 2018, interview on Russian state television, Patriarch Kirill of Moscow warned that the Antichrist is the person that will be the head of the World Wide Web, controlling all of humanity. That means that the structure itself poses a danger. There shouldn't be a single center, at least not in the foreseeable future. Well, there isn't. If we don't want to bring on the apocalypse, I mean, there isn't and there won't be. That, like, there are too many different places that, like, have their own centers. That can't work that way. But that's an interesting point, and it ties into, actually maybe reinforcing my previous theory that the beast of the beast from the sea, uh, as not a human, but like as just like a core concept, is a lot more like the actual internet. And that's interesting. The Antichrist is the person that will be the head of the World Wide Web, controlling all humanity. Well, there isn't one, and that can't work that way. But like, heck, even with magic, I'm pretty sure that's impossible. You'd need like a large group. You'd need a Sagi to do that. Anyway, and like have to be a Sagita with like other people. You couldn't do it with like just yourself with like a bunch like a bunch of stuff that you made. Like specifically that's all your essence. So it'd just be that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. That can't work. Anyway, sorry, I digressed. You exhort listeners not to fall into slavery to what's in your hands. You should remain free inside, not fall under addiction, not to alcohol, not to narcotics, and not to gadgets. Don't be addicted to your phone. It's actually solid advice. There are a lot of people who are addicted to their phone. You just are. Old believers. Yeah, I'll do this one, then I'll wrap up. After the Patriarch Nikon of Moscow reformed the Russian Orthodox Church during the second half of the 17th century, a large number of old believers held that Peter the Great, the Tsar of Russia and Empire until his death in 1725, was the Antichrist because of the treatment of the Orthodox Church, namely subordinating the church to the state, requiring clergymen to confirm the standards of all Russian civilians, shave beards, being fluent in French, and require them to pay state taxes. That's another interesting point. The number of times that dictators are likened under the Antichrist. Because, like, that's some dictator stuff right there. Like, dang. 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 Like, making the Russian civilians do that by itself. Dang. Anyway, there are two conceptions of the Antichrist among the old believers. The spiritual Antichrist and the central Antichrist. I see. The central means a particular person who will rule at the end of times for a literal 3.5 years. The priesthood old believers mostly adhere to this conception. The spiritual Antichrist is to rule in heretical church and state a spirit that may, through many people, since the year 1000 in the West and since 1666 in Russia. The true priesthood is considered to be lacking in the world due to abomination of this. The true priesthood is considered to be lacking in the world due to abomination of desolation, which is synonymous with the rule of the Antichrist. Most non-priesthood believers adhere to this conception, except the so-called Casavenye. So actually, by that conception, we've been in the rule of the Antichrist for like a couple hundred years now. No, I hope not. I hope that's, well, hmm. No, that means we are at least spiritually supposed to clear the rule of the Antichrist. All right, that's cool. That's cool. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap this up for now. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe.